Don't you want to try the coffee I made especially for you, sweetheart? My husband, Ethan Carter, asked with a strange smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. We were sitting at my sister-in-law's dining table, Vanessa's elegant Nashville home, where our extended family gathered once a month for brunch. The mug in front of me carried a strange, almost metallic smell that made my stomach turn. My name is Lauren Carter, and at 29 years old, I never imagined I'd be questioning whether my own husband was trying to poison me. But after 3 years of marriage and far too many unexplained accidents, I had learned to be cautious, especially around Vanessa. She had a way of orchestrating situations that left me sick, embarrassed, or weakened, all while keeping that same innocent smile Ethan was wearing now. "How thoughtful of you," I said, forcing a smile even as my heart hammered in my chest. The aroma wafting from the cup was unlike any coffee I'd smelled before. Sharp, bitter, wrong. It reminded me of the time last month when I ended up in urgent care after drinking tea at Vanessa's house. The doctors couldn't explain my symptoms, and Vanessa insisted she made my tea the same way she made hers. Vanessa was stirring her own untouched coffee, watching me with thinly veiled amusement. "Ethan's become quite the barista lately," she said, her voice playful but edged with something darker. "He's been practicing different brewing methods, just for you." The way she emphasized "for you" sent a chill crawling down my spine. I had noticed Ethan spending more time at Vanessa's house lately. He claimed they were planning something special for our upcoming anniversary, but my instincts screamed that wasn't the truth. Whispered conversations that went silent when I entered the room, texts he shielded from my eyes, and now this poison-smelling coffee sitting in front of me. I lifted the cup to my lips, pretending to sip, my eyes scanning their faces. Ethan and Vanessa exchanged a quick glance, subtle but undeniable. My suspicions hardened. I set the cup down and fumbled with my phone. "Oh, would you look at that? I need to make a quick work call. Vanessa, do you mind if I use your study?" As I stood, I accidentally stumbled, bumping the table and switching my cup with hers in the confusion. "I'm so sorry," I said, straightening myself with an embarrassed laugh. Vanessa waved off my apology, her lips tight. "Just don't break anything in there," she muttered. I hurried down the hall, slipping into the study, but left the door cracked just enough to see. My heart pounded so loudly I thought they'd hear it. Back at the table, Vanessa absent-mindedly lifted the mug, the one that had been meant for me, and sipped. For a moment, nothing happened. Then her hand trembled. Her skin paled. She set the cup down, eyes darting to Ethan. "Something's wrong," she whispered, her voice shaking. Ethan's expression morphed from confusion to horror. He lunged forward, panic flickering across his features. "Vanessa, what's happening? That wasn't supposed to be," his voice dropped. "That wasn't supposed to be your cup." My stomach turned cold. I stepped from the study doorway, phone recording in my hand. "What did you put in there, Ethan?" Vanessa clutched her stomach, trying to stand. "Ethan, what did you do to me?" Her voice cracked as her legs buckled beneath her. "It wasn't meant for you," he cried, his voice breaking. "You weren't supposed to drink that." In the chaos, Vanessa's mask slipped. Her anger lashed out even through the pain. "This is your fault," she hissed at Ethan. "You promised it would only make her sick enough to miss that board meeting next week. You said it wouldn't trace back." The Wirtsfroze ME. The board meeting, where I was scheduled to present a proposal for a massive client account. An account Vanessa had been clawing to land for years. The puzzle pieces snapped together. The tea. The breakfasts. The unexplained hospital visits. Every time, it was her. Every time, Ethan was standing by her side. I called 911, my voice steady despite the chaos. "We need an ambulance at 1542 Willow Lane. My sister-in-law is having a severe reaction to something in her coffee. Please hurry." Vanessa collapsed to the floor, her body trembling violently. Ethan knelt beside her, frantic and pale. "Stay with me, Vanessa, stay with me." But her voice was ragged, her eyes wide with fear. She looked at me across the floor.
You switched, you Knee.
The paramedics arrived in minutes, loading her onto a stretcher. Ethan tried to follow, but I blocked his path. I'll ride with her, I said coldly. I want to make sure she gets the right treatment. And I want the doctors to know exactly what was in that coffee. His face drained of color. At the hospital, chaos unfolded as doctors worked to stabilize Vanessa. They confirmed toxins in her system, not food poisoning, but deliberate contamination. Dr. Phillips, the lead physician, studied me carefully. Mrs. Carter, what exactly happened before she collapsed? I pulled out my phone and pressed play. Ethan's whispered confession filled the sterile air.
The doctor's face hardened.
This isn't an accident. We're notifying the police immediately. Detective Mendoza arrived within the hour, a seasoned woman with sharp eyes and a steady voice. She listened as I explained the past incidents, each time I ended up sick after meals at their house. I handed over my logs, dates, symptoms, and suspicious circumstances I had recorded for months. Vanessa's earlier bravado was gone. Lying in her hospital bed, trembling and pale, she tried to spin the narrative. It wasn't supposed to go this far, she whispered. We just wanted her to miss a few meetings. Ethan said it wouldn't be serious. But the toxicology report told a darker story. The substances weren't household items. They were experimental compounds, stolen from a pharmaceutical company through Ethan's old college contact. Each attempt had been carefully documented in Ethan's office drawer, bottles labeled with dosages and notes about my reactions. I confronted him in the hospital hallway as officers moved in to arrest him. How long? I demanded. How many times did you try to poison me? His silence was louder than any confession. Detective Mendoza's voice cut through the air. Mr. Carter, you're under arrest for attempted murder and conspiracy. The trial lasted 3 weeks. Every day, I sat in that courtroom, staring at the two people who had once been closest to me. Ethan, the man I married. Vanessa, the sister-in-law who smiled as she plotted against me. The prosecution laid everything bare: the recordings, the text messages, the bottles of poison, the hospital records. Witnesses testified. Dr. Phillips explained in chilling detail how the dosages increased with each incident. When the verdict was read, guilty on all counts, I felt no joy, only relief. Ethan and Vanessa were sentenced to decades in prison. Their empire, their reputation, everything they schemed for was gone. 1 year later, I stood on stage at the Nashville Business Leaders Conference, preparing to give the keynote speech. The irony wasn't lost on me. This was exactly the kind of moment Vanessa had tried to steal. The truth, I told the audience, is that success isn't just about talent or hard work. It's about integrity. About who you trust, and who trusts you. Sometimes the greatest threats to our future don't come from competitors outside our walls, but from the people sitting at our own table. The crowd was silent, hanging on my words. Later that evening, I received an email from the Henderson account, the very deal Vanessa had tried to sabotage, renewing their contract for 3 more years. I smiled to myself. They had tried to poison me. They had tried to silence me. But I was still here. And I was stronger than ever.